Next topic here will also be a little bit of looking back, because at our first meeting in Barcelona, we also discussed a lot the formation of a European ELAACC registry, also inspired by the US registry, where we have had a lot of important publications, and we spent a lot of time discussing all the parameters and the structure and how we could get started. And we have worked a lot since that first meeting, so now we actually have finalized a frame or a ELAACC registry, which is based on the RedCap. And Xavier, you have been heavily involved as well, and you will present to us about the structure and how it looks and how everybody can join the registry. So please.
Yeah, well, first of all, I would like just to say thank you, to your team, because actually, most of the work come from your group. You already start with the RedCap registry, and I mean, you've been really nice to share, with the rest of us. I think that this has, a huge potential. And the first thing, for the ones that don't know RedCap, I'm just gonna make an introduction of that, what does it mean, and then we will go through the database, because we spent, I don't know, last year 2-3 hours selecting what variables were the good ones, and also to try to join all together to speak the same language. And if we're sharing projects and research, that we just only one click we can share all our patients. So basically, for the ones that don't know, this would be, the first, like the website of the RedCap project. RedCap, it's a free initiative. I mean, there's no cost on that. And as you can see, more than 7,000 institutions in the world are enrolled, mostly universities, mostly hospitals. So I mean, if you don't have access, you can easily ask for one, and very fast, you will get a license for free. And then, it's a very powerful tool. Why? Because you can use that platform for database, for your own database, and it's very easy to use. So you will see, it's a nice and simple platform. It's very friendly to feel and nice. You can tailor the format. I mean, you can change it. It's very easy to modify and add new variables. It's also possible to export to Excel format. So I mean, if we're analyzing stuff, it's going to be easy and fast to do that. It's an online tool as well. I mean, I can fill a patient from here, or you can fill a patient from wherever. I mean, and it can be used everywhere. So you can have multiple users, fellows, I mean, other staff. So it's a control access as well, and mostly a two-step check. So I mean, you can just put a lot of barriers in terms of security, and there is a secure environment, so accepted for the institutions, for the hospitals. So the website, the platform is a protected website. So I mean, that's why it's accepted for hospitals, because they have a lot of systems to protect the data that you're going to introduce. That would be this two-step verification. So first of all, they ask you for a username and then a password. And then if you want, they will send you a message to your phone or just to your email, and then you can do that. You can also skip that. I mean, if you want just to go directly, it's not compulsory, so you can just do in one step. We also use it for other therapies, and I also encourage you to use RedCap for other therapies, like, I don't know, if you're using edge-to-edge, TAVI. So we have different Excel, so we can secure and save all patients using this platform. So you can have as many projects as you want. It's a evaluate tool to evaluate procedural outcomes. I mean, what we were saying this morning, if you want just to do an internal check of your results, so it's a very good tool for that, because you're going to have it immediately. There's no cost for the institution, it's free. So need for a specific application, I mean, easy to get it. It's available in most universities. As I said, it's for multiple users, and it's also in a secure environment. And, as I said, it's institutional database. And finally, and that's why we're here and we're sharing this, it's a very powerful research tool. So we won just to have as many patients as possible, but we don't want to spend, time, for, try to fit the variables or try to collect different variables. So with this, with one click, we're gonna have, exactly the same format, and with one click, we will be able to share all the patients that we wanna share, because that's the also important thing. No, it's, as I said, it's a powerful research tool. It's actually, probably that it's used as a CRF in several studies, like many studies that we participate are using the RedCap platform, multiple users, and also valid for non-RedCap users, and you can just log in online. And this is very important. You can do it as a tailored use. So what means that if you ask for permission, so you're gonna be the owner of the data. So that means that if you don't want to share, you don't share. I mean, by participating in this project, it doesn't mean that we all are going to share the same patients, we will have access to thousands of patients. No. It's going to be your database. So, or you don't share it, or you can do partial share with some centers, or you can total share. So, I mean, it's your decision, and you will share the moment that you want and for the project that you want. And that's very important. I mean, like, nobody will have access from here to your patients or to your registry. But at the end, and at least, if you want to share it, it's going to be very easy. So as I said, you can export to Excel format and secure environment. So how to do it? So that's, and we will share this presentation. It's extremely easy. So you create and log in with your RedCap user, of course. As I told you, if you are not a RedCap user, you need to ask your institution for a user, like for a username and a password. And once you do it, so you will go here, okay? So then you click on the new project, you see here in the upper part, this new project, and it will open something like this. So you put your project title, the purpose, and actually if you want some notes. And here, it will also, go to this website, or just to this screen or this window. And then you will need a file, that's the one that we will share with you, that we call the blueprint, that actually, Anders Kramer and John Erik, are the ones that they have, so you will have just to ask, for this file to them. And it's important that this file come from them, because they will have the last version. This last version, we will be sure that it's not changed every week. So I think that it's important just to get, a consensus that we can change it maybe at 6 months or maybe every year. I think because otherwise, it can be a mess. In any case, so you will have this file that it's a very, not heavy file. I mean, it's less than 1 mega, and you upload it and you already have it. So that's it. I mean, it takes less than 1 minute, and with this, you can, save, you can store, you can have all your patients in this, same environment. But again, so you will share it if you want, just only if you want, and for the project that you want. That would be more or less, if you have more projects, so you will have more projects. If not, you will have something like this. And then, like now, Anders we will show you, the database that is super friendly, and you will see it's something that we discussed last year for 2-3 hours, and we came to this agreement. There's also, like the new classification. So it's gonna be, I think that it's gonna be very powerful. We're gonna be able to have a lot of patients so far. So I don't know, like John Erik, how many you have. Like we introduced almost 500 patients, and I think that was the, the goal, that at least, me, that I'm, just supporting, like this initiative, and of course that you are using this RedCap for many years, and at least we could test it and we see that everything was fine. So from that on, I mean, we can share this last version for all of you, I mean, and share the data. So I think that, Anders, you want to come, and we will show you.
Certainly.
Yeah. 1 second.
Yeah, Anders has helped us tremendously with the practical design of the registry. So he's really the master and can do all the architect, and can can guide us through all the through the structure of this database.
Yeah, as Xavier alluded to, it's really about speaking the same language when we record either retrospectively or prospectively through this database. We presented a quite similar version last year, but based on the feedback from you from last year's meeting, we have made a few modifications. So just to begin with, once we choose to add a new record, they will get a patient ID that is generated by RedCap itself. These are the instruments, is the nomenclature within RedCap, with demographics, pre-procedural planning, procedure, follow-up imaging, and clinical outcomes. So demographics holds a lot of the data that you would expect and that you would often find within a table 1 within the papers. You can automatically, it will calculate age at procedure if you enter their date of birth and the date of the procedure. The CHASQ-VASC score will calculate CHASQ-VASC automatically, having you enter dates of prior strokes, for instance. There's a long list of indications, and of course we cannot plan for everything, so there's usually a possibility to choose some other indication. As for the pre-procedural planning, this has now been updated with the latest version of the ELAACC LAA classification as presented in the paper and earlier today. This also has an automatically a score that will automatically calculate complexity score, and here you are able to choose which imaging modality you have been utilizing, and you can enter data based on that scan. All right. For the procedure itself, it, for instance, holds data on procedure time, number of recaptures, also alluding to what we were talking about earlier today regarding complexity. So a nice way to make sure you get these things recorded, as you can actually remember.
Yeah, well, no, basically, so here it's one of the points that we check that you maybe there will be, some changes. For example, now the ICE 3D, it's coming, so maybe, it will be good. This is something that we will do, like in this meeting. So ICE 3D, Mini-T 3D. Also now, for example, we're measuring the LAE pressure. So just to have a box for LAE pressure, I think that it's good because we're just like putting in procedural notes. But I think that it would be nice just to have like a dedicated window. So it's this kind of thing, no? But at the end, what it's important is just not to make too many changes. And if we do a change from here and then try to wait for the next one.
I think also as a collaborative tool, it's important that you in your own database you are easily able to add extra data or extra variables that you want, as long as you don't change the existing variables. Then you can still merge data with the other institutions, part of the RedCap Registry collaboration, and you just choose not to export those institutional variables if you want to do
and can you show us, for example, if you have a DRT?
Yes.
So how it would look?
So you would enter that in clinical outcomes. And you choose.
And then the imaging, no? You have to go for imaging follow-up.
We can do that as well. And you will have to enter some details on. Yes. And of course, cardiac CT, the only right option here. And then you choose hyperattenuated thickening here present, and you can choose whichever grade. So a DRT, they say that's definitely grade 3. Yeah, and you enter data quite easily, and as you can see, there's a lot of drop-down menus and a lot of windows that open up once you enter the relevant variables.
I think that which is nice from the database is that it looks very simple, but then if you just click, then it opens.
Then it surprises you.
A new world. Yeah. But at least it's good that it looks simple, no? Because if you don't have any issue, I mean, it will take, like a second to fill it. It's not like that you get, dizzy with, like hundreds of variables.
And Jens Erik, we have been using it prospectively for a while now, and how long does it take you to, after a procedure, you usually enter the data on
It will typically take you from 5 to 10 minutes after the procedure and
it's definitely the easiest time point to enter all that data. You won't have to go back and find it somewhere. Yeah.
Then it's a little bit annoying if you don't have the time just here and now. Several hours, then you have forgot about the measurements and everything. So you should really learn to do the data entry just after the procedure. That is quite important.
That's the most time effective. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know if you have a question or.
Xavier, so the RedCap creates a patient ID, okay, which allows you to anonymize and to share the data with the other centers. But how do you recognize your own patient? If you use only this database, how do you recognize your own patient?
If you look at the screen now, you have institutional ID as well, so you can add whatever you want, so you can come back and identify your own patients.
Yeah, so there's one variable in the demographics table that just lets you add an institutional ID, or whichever. You can add another ID field for your own database if you want to.
And one more comment about that, because when we come to a point where we will do multi-center studies, you can of course blind this, so you can ask not to merge this parameter.
If I collect forward-looking data, so far I've always waited for an ethics vote, because at least in Germany we've always discussed that if we go prospectively, we have to pay if the patient consented for that, and the hurdle is always to have the ethics vote before. Is there any center in Germany that already has gone through this process?
No, not to my knowledge.
And you don't need that for?
We have Martin. We have. This can be a registry, but it's also a research project. And actually, in connection with this, we have a research protocol called the ELAACC Observational Study, describing that it is a research project, and this protocol is formulated very broadly, so you can do almost anything with it. So this, for countries where you just cannot start a registry, you can start a research protocol or a research project, and this protocol is available.
We also do that all the time, and we also have a very broad protocol, which for some reason does not cover LAA at the moment, but we always need, for prospective data, an ethics vote, and they have the patient consented that we collect the data, even though it looks like that's why you see so many retrospective studies out of Germany, because,
And it will also be needed when we try to do multi-center studies on this.
So we're not allowed to share the data, but it's like just to having in the hospital profiles. I mean, since RedCap belongs to the hospital, I mean, just the way that you share or you just keep it for you. You cannot share it. I mean, of course, if you share it, you need to be under a project. I don't know, that's not possible, because at the end, it's going to be stored somewhere. Your patients are going to be stored somewhere. So if it's an accepted tool, secure tool, so at least for us, it's allowed. It doesn't look the case for you.
Somehow we are Europe. It should be the same data safety thing, but I always get the feeling that Germany is different. It's like Asterix and Obelix, this little village that...
You had a comment.
So you can export the data to the Excel, but can you also import the data? So if you have an Excel and all the same parameters already, you can like import it in.
Yeah, so the important factor here is that the variables are coded with the same names. So if you have a spreadsheet in Excel with a bunch of the same variables, you'll just have to rename that column in your Excel sheet, and it should be able to import it quite easily.
Can I ask another question to follow up on Martin's comment? So usually you are required in Germany, and I guess it's Europe-wide, if you collect prospectively data, you need an ethics approval. At least in Germany is that. And is it possible to have a centralized ethic committee proposal?
So the Charité just did theirs for Germany, isn't it?
We did not do that. I just asked whether that is centrally possible. Because there will be a lot of centers, and I guess it will
Yeah,
be a
but we
problem.
have worked out a protocol that can be used, and it might need modification which country you go to.
Yeah.
But there is a framework already that you can use this observational study.
And that would be really nice if you could share that then.
Yeah, we can share that, so of course.
Yeah, the very trivial question. I saw that you don't grade the leaks. I mean, just the query is a yes or no, right? If there is a leak.
No, we have.
You can grade it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, as with the
Because
no,
I
you
saw
can.
just on the panel made.
Yeah, it's just I had to choose something for my leak analysis for it to show up. If I say yes here, then you get more information you need to enter on your leak. But yeah.
To the computer, because people are not.
No, yeah, sorry.
This is the presentation. Can you go to the computer? Now. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. So if you click yes here.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a maximum width. Okay.
Yeah, it's just to make it look easy for
Okay,
you to
okay.
enter, and then it tricks you.
Yeah.
If you click on TEE here instead of cardiac CT, show us what is showing here. Okay.
It's the same.
And also a question about the definition. There was one device time. Device time counted from patient entering the room, patient starting anesthesia, or patient starting the procedure. Procedure
you
time.
mean a procedure
here.
time? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, because every one of us counts something different. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a
Yeah, but
practical
a good
question.
point. That
Needs
would be
definition, yeah.
important to put in a note what is
definition.
meant by. Yeah.
That's good.
How many do you all have access to a RedCap database, or some does not have? Is there anybody in the room that do not have access to RedCap? No, so it's widely used, so that will facilitate things.
And it's very easy. I mean, you only need to, just get in contact, with the institution, and then ask for that, and it will get it. So it's.
But the feedback here is that for probably several countries, if you collect things prospectively, like here, you need a research protocol for it, and you need ethical approval.
And the good news is that it's already there.
So,
Well, a small comment about the database. So in Belgium, you are allowed to collect data for quality purposes of your own center.
yeah,
And if you want to export,
then you
can
need
have
approval.
you can just per protocol or per export ask your ethical committee, but you are allowed to collect data for your own quality check.
Yeah.
And that can be from any database architecture that you import.
Exactly.
But when I see, just a small remark, you are not allowed to export the date of birth of a patient. You are allowed to export the year, but not the date of birth for the GDPR.
But even for your own
you can
analysis.
You can collect it for your own. You can have the identifiers, the name of the patient, and so on in your database, but you are not allowed to export it.
Yeah.
So here, the date of birth you cannot export.
But it's also easy to plug it, no? I mean, when you export.
Yeah. When you choose to export it, you can you will convert it to as you have mentioned, you convert it back to an Excel file, and then you just choose to block out whichever columns you don't want to export.
You can maybe modify it by the age at the time of the procedure. Age of the patient at the time of the procedure. It's accepted.
That is calculated and already available.
And practical question: if I'd like to join from, let's say, 1 week, what shall I do practically?
Well, practically, so you will have the presentation. I mean, there are the instructions, new project. So you ask, for this, it's called blueprint, that it's, the code, and then it will come.
Yeah, but is it ready now to collect the data? Yeah, okay.
It's ready.
No, the only
And
thing
if you need at the same time to apply for a research project, we can send you the protocol and you can modify it so it will suit your local.
Because in my institution, if you have approval, I only have to show that it was approved somewhere in Europe.
Okay.
Just notify my ethics committee that I will join the process like that.
But again, if you want to use it as your own research tool, your own quality tool, that's also acceptable. I mean, and at the end, you collect it, and at the moment that you want to share, you share. That's a very important point. I mean, so you're not obliged to share. I mean, it's your data. So,
Xavier, one of the problems that I had with my ethical committee is a formal problem. Is that the property of the data must be of my hospital. Then I can decide to share with others, but it's a formal problem. The owner is my institute.
But you own the data.
It's an institutional.
You own the data.
Address. So it's RedCap.
Exactly, this is the problem. Then you decide to share with others, but the problem. Probably in Italy, this problem will be for all centers.
Yeah.
But probably I think one option to facilitate the inclusion of the center, I think we could individuate a national coordinator that I know exactly in Italy who ask for the database, but not probably in Germany or in other countries. So I think we have to formally nominate one responsible of this country. He prepared the list of the centers with the volume of activity and facilitate and promote the enrollment of the patient.
Yeah, so actually that's a good point. So I think that first year was to generate it, get consensus in the variables.
So, but excellent job.
Test it. It works. So because I've been just introducing like 500 patients, and maybe the next step is what you said, that in every country we start just to
yes, this is an excellent work. Now we have to try to apply in the real world all this job you did.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have two very small comments here. Just to clarify, this is the RedCap database instead of an Excel database kept on your own server, right? It's in your own hospital, on your own hospital servers. So you just collect, instead of collecting your data in an old-fashioned Excel file, you're just collecting it in the RedCap.
Yes.
One. And then the second part, Anders, is like a very small, very practical thing. I really like in our RedCap that we have like some common, like for us it's 999 or quadruple 9 to fill out fields that we don't know, that are unknown, because otherwise if you fill it out with several people, someone will look at it, will leave the field open because it's not in the file, and then the next person looks at it and he will also try to fill that field. So it's good to have a common denominator for a field that is looked at but unknown.
Yeah.
That's also a good point. Yep. I think that we need to move, no? Because super late.
Yeah, so one of the purposes with this registry is to initiate collaborative research projects, and we have started a little bit. So Victor, can you come to the podium and explain a little bit, because we We have been starting a project together with Bern, and Victor is from our center in Aarhus, and you are now in Switzerland, Bern, and we have already about 400 patients each in the registry, and you have, together with colleagues from Bern, started to look at our ELAACC classification, and this is also something that we want to have the ELAACC board here to take part in this evaluation, but try to explain us what you have been looking at now as an example of research coming from this registry.
Yes, thank you very much, Jens Erik, and also to the organizers for allowing me to present first of all the protocol and also our current progress in the work of validating the ELAACC score of left atrial appendage anatomy. And as Dr. Armenian gave us a glimpse into earlier today, there's been an extensive work gone into defining the ELAACC score, and the next step is validating it. So what we are working on is a dual-center retrospective cohort study between Aarhus and Bern University hospitals with analysis of pre-procedural cardiac CT done by a core lab situated at the Bern University Hospital. And the aim of the study is first and foremost to validate the European left atrial appendage closure club score in predicting challenging left atrial appendage closure procedures. And we have included 800 consecutive patients in a one-by-one fashion between centers, and all patients included in the period between 2020 and 2024. All outcome data will be prospectively collected from local registries, and as we see here, our sample size is based on a primary composite endpoint of aborted procedure, intra-hospital device embolization, residual leak at end of procedure, and deep device implantation. And other endpoints will include composites with device change, multiple device recaptures intra-procedurally, and this gave us a sample size of 786 patients based on a C statistic of 0.7. And as we also heard earlier, we define our LAA ostium as the first step, with the ostium being placed proximal to the left circumflex artery and by the coumadin ridge perpendicularly to the neck. And at this point, we measure and note area, perimeter, diameters of the ostium, and by 3D reconstruction, we take note of the traditional morphological classification as well as the main axis of the appendage. And from the ostial plane, as Dr. Armenian also described to us earlier, we define the working depth, and in this case we also define a two-dimensional left atrial appendage length as well as the distances. First of all, the longest distance to the tip of the pulmonary vein ridge and the shortest distance to the mitral valve annulus. And when we move into the landing zone, we place 3 planes at 10, 15, and 20 millimeters in linear distance from the ostium, measure all the same geometrical parameters and the acute angles between the anatomical ostium and landing zone planes in order to get an assessment of for example, an early sharp bend. And to further this cohort study, also because we are creating a large database, we chose to include other parameters as well. For example, the angles for transeptal puncture, and this has been based on the method published by Ole de Bagger's group in 2022, where the oval fossa is defined in a 3-dimensional reconstruction with a 3-dimensional workflow, and then posterior and anterior angles are measured in the lateral view, with superior and inferior angles measured in the apical view. So this gives us the opportunity to also assess the intraprocedural point of access. Then we measure secondary lobes and internal septums. Lobes we define as structures protruding from the main lumen surrounded by a myocardial wall for at least 180 degrees with a minimum depth to width of 10 millimeters. And this we see in the bottom picture here. And this is noted as 0, 1, or 2 in the database. Then septums and pectinates are defined as any structures protruding into the main lumen for more than 5 millimeters. And currently, we are 2 independent readers in the core lab, and to date we have conducted approximately 350 independent readings, so 2 times 350, and we expect imaging analysis of the complete database of 800 patients to be finished by end of March 2025. And after having done 2 times 100 CT scans, we conducted preliminary reproducibility statistics showing good to excellent reproducibility of all presented parameters as measured by either intra-class correlation statistics for continuous variables or absolute agreement Cohen's-Kappa for categorical variables. And based on what we will see when we have our primary results, we have finished our data collection in the first 800 patients. We are open to a potential sample size increase. And the perspectives of this is both, of course, validation of the current structure of the ELAACC score, but also a potential element in the discussion of future adjustments based on primary results. And thank you for your time.
So thank you, because I think that that's why we presented here in the session. It's like the perfect example on how, like a project between 2 institutions, with this registry can be easily done. I mean, exactly. If I want to share the data with Philippe or, with all of you, and we want to check something, so if we have the data already in the system, so it's going to be a matter of seconds. So it's really nice, and it's, encouraging. I mean, it's an example, perfect example that this might work, and I think that a lot of research projects will come from this. Yeah. I don't know if there is any question, comment. So we really need to finish the session because we're 40 minutes late.
No, I mean, probably from some people here, it's going to be hard to retrospectively include. But even if you do it prospectively and you have a very high quality data, I mean, if you are many people here that are high implanters are participating in the registry, very quickly we will end up with a prospective registry with a lot of patients, with very nice data and accurate data, which will be prospective. So it will be very, very interesting.
The success of this registry will really depend on if you want to participate. And to be totally practical, send a request to me. Tell me that you want to participate in this registry, and we can send you this blueprint so you have the frame and can start entering data in principle. And you can also have this protocol for the ELAACC observational study that you can modify, and then you can apply your local ethics committee. I mean, it's unrealistic that we have all European centers on board in a very short period of time, and the meaning has from the beginning been that it should spread just slowly from the ELAACC board and for you participating in this meeting. So that, I see, let it just grow, and we have...
like the guidelines, no?
Yes.
Let the guidelines grow. No, but it's true that probably for this year, the objective, for the members of the club would be to explore, just the options, to implement this database in your countries, in your institutions. And
so at this time point, we have 400 from Aarhus, 400 from Switzerland, 400 from your center. That's 1,200 patients. Next year, we will have 12,000 patients. Yeah. Maybe.
At least.
Hopefully.
Yes. Okay, I think that we need to move, to the next session. Thank you.
you.